Namaste, everyone. Michele Granberg here. Welcome to another episode of Positive Energy, bringing enlightening television for your evolving soul. Would you turn away if your loved one was suffering? Or would you turn toward them and try to help? For most of us, our natural instinct is to lend a hand. Yet animals are also crying out for help, and every day we overlook the injustices inflicted upon them. Fortunately, groups are organizing with the purpose of bringing a love-based, nonviolent approach to the changes we want to see in the world. On this show, I'm joined by two of the most passionate and dedicated activists I know. Stay tuned. At the end of the show, I'll be giving you some valuable resources you won't want to miss. Here we go as Positive Energy starts right now. So Positive Energy welcomes Jamie and Arti to our show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. This is so exciting.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
So you're both two of the most active activists that I know, and really tireless and passionate in your action. So let's dive right in and talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
So Arti, start by letting us know, why are you vegan, and how did you become involved in animal liberation activism, and what keeps you going in that?
It's funny because I actually never thought I'd be advocating for animals. I always thought that those activists were like, what are they doing? You know, it's like crazy, what are they doing? Yeah. But I actually started more on a plant-based diet. I did it for health because I am a yoga teacher, a wellness coach, also a personal trainer. So I started with that angle. And eventually I realized that, you know, maybe I don't want to eat strictly plant-based. I want to eat and try other things. So I started looking more into veganism. I joined some Facebook pages with veganism, and I started to learn more about it. And those videos, I will say a turning point, so there was a lot of layers, there was a lot of seeds planted, and then I watched a James Aspie talk. He's amazing. And he was talking about also being a personal trainer and thinking he needed meat protein. So I started to really dive into that and look into it. And that's where my veganism journey started. So I became vegan in April of 2017. And then I started activism only last September. And I started with something called the Cube of Truth, with Anonymous for the Voiceless. So I find that to be one of the best ways of doing activism because you get to actually connect with people and talk to them and really share with them, ask them questions, and really educate and edify them. So it's really cool. That's basically the beginnings. Yeah. I could tell you stories forever, but
yeah, we're going to talk more stories. We do want to hear those stories. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. How about you, Jamie?
Yeah, for me, it was actually, I think, more of the animals. I was in Indiana visiting my grandparents. I visit them every summer, and I had never seen anything like this before. There was a livestock truck driving down the highway, and it was filled with pigs. And that was like kind of my first encounter with seeing kind of like the truth of where our food comes from. Yeah. And my dog was sitting next to me in the car, and I just remember looking at her and like thinking like, what if she were in there? What is the difference? Really, like what is the difference between her and one of those pigs that were on the truck? Yeah. And what was for dinner that night? Pork chops, yeah. So that I didn't eat it. I was like, not happening, never again. So that back and forth between high school, I was vegetarian, and then like the week after, you know, it was very hard to stay on track. And I was my family would be like, "What are you? Are you vegetarian this week, or are you eating ribs? Like, what's the deal?" And it'd be
they always make jokes when they don't understand. Usually,
It almost became like a comedy show. It was like nobody took me seriously, and it wasn't until college where I went completely vegetarian. I was like, you know, we had the cafeteria, tried it, whatever, ate it. And then I went vegan, I would say 3 years later. And I got into activism because my cousin, she runs an AV group, out in California. Anonymous for the Voiceless, basically we show to the public, we show on the TV screens slaughterhouse footage, and we stand there and very educationally and very peacefully we talk about what is going on, and we ask people questions to see where they are at in their journey. So I did one of these events and I felt so empowered, and I felt so just like I felt like I finally found something I could align myself with.
Yeah.
And I continued doing those events, and then it led to vigils where we bear witness outside the slaughterhouse, and then it led to demonstrations for protests. I mean, it just kind of spiraled. It was a ripple effect, and then you meet amazing people, like our activist friends.
It's a great community.
Totally.
I've
really
only just
is.
become involved as well in this more New Jersey-based local vegan community.
Right.
Incredible people.
Amazing.
Incredible
so happy
organizations.
when I saw you at one of the cubes. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. In New
No
Brunswick.
hesitation just to kind of jump in. Yeah, in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because people often think that veganism is going to be like the end of their journey or something like that. It's actually so the beginning.
Totally.
I had no idea so much what I was getting into in some ways. Went into it for the best possible reasons for the animals.
Absolutely.
And then recognized it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to be a vegan. We want to help. We want to reach out more. We want to be vocal in our community. So there's a lot of misconceptions about veganism. So when people ask you what it is, what's the kind of clear definition you give people? And also people have a lot of strong feelings both for and against.
Right.
You notice that it pushes a lot of buttons.
It sure
It
does.
fires people up.
Sure
It's
does.
almost like it's a conversation you have to, am I going to get into this conversation and where is it going to go? It's almost never just sort of a neutral conversation. So why do you think people have such strong feelings for and against veganism? What do you think?
I think it's really because people identify themselves with what they eat, right? Like they're like, quote, but bacon though, right? Or anything like that. They identify themselves, they're so connected to food, and then it also is a very social aspect, right? Like we connect to each other through eating. So let's go eat at this restaurant. We want to eat Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwiches, so let's go here. So it's like we do these things as groups. And so being that it's not a completely vegan world yet, I think people are very afraid. So quickly people align with the fact that it's wrong to harm animals. When they see the footage on the TV screens at our cubes, people very quickly, and even in conversation, almost everybody will agree that it's not right to harm animals. But we have been so indoctrinated. It's just something that is been so normalized in our social world everywhere throughout the entire world, right? We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have the turkey. Everything is based around the turkey, and then the ham at Christmas time. So I think that makes it really challenging for people to just kind of say, well, my family might reject me, or there's like big changes that people are afraid of.
Yeah.
And I think in life, generally speaking, and of course having that yogi in me, knowing that like we're not on this planet to just do what feels right and it's always fun. It's really important for us. This is a social justice movement. It's not just veganism. Veganism is a movement. And if we agree that harming animals is wrong, it's really important for us to align our ethics, our morals, and our values with that. Yeah. I hope I answered the question right.
Absolutely.
You answered all of it. I don't
Yes.
have anything else to say.
Yes,
so.
and yes. Well, then, Jamie, I want to ask you because
Yes.
let's talk about some of the ways that animal activism, the different forms that it takes.
Yeah.
One of them
She's
is
a great activist.
You
I will
are
say.
too.
oh
You're
my
a
gosh,
activist.
yes.
Yeah.
Do you sleep at all, or
No,
are you just
I'm a predator out in the field.
That's it, constantly. Where is she now? She's the wandering activist somewhere. Let's talk about disruptions, okay? Because
Yes.
people don't know what they are necessarily when we say that.
Yeah.
Tell people what a disruption is, what the purpose of a disruption is, and then can you tell us a little bit about the most recent fur disruption you did in New York City? Because New York City is fur-free now. Yes?
Not yet.
No.
We're working towards
Macy's
it.
and Bloomingdale's.
California is fur-free.
California is
Sorry, honey.
fur-free.
Yeah, I mean, we're working towards it. It's definitely being introduced into the law, and where people are fighting for it on that level. But disruptions, I think, are so important. I don't think that there's one right way to do activism. I think we need to try all different routes and just see what the end result is. Are people making changes based on our actions? So the most recent, I just did a disruption yesterday, actually. So a disruption is basically where you go into a public place and you either say a speech or do a demo. I've seen people do fur demos, and they are covered in blood, and they represent the
Not real blood.
Yeah, they represent the poor animals that suffered so much for our choices. So the most recent fur demo that I went to was last weekend in New York, and it was just Rob Banks and Rachel. Rachel Levy. They led the fur protest. They organized this, put this together, and it was so empowering just to be around all of these incredible activists. And we marched all down from Union Square all the way to downtown. We hit Canada Goose, like Fendi and Dolce & Gabbana. We went to all these stores and we led chants all the way there, and we were protesting, and it really captured people's attention and made them think, like, you know, what is this and what's going on here and what should I know?
You almost have some of it is the shock value or the wake-up factor, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And one of our friends, Victoria, she was holding a TV screen with the footage from the fur industry that was playing. Yeah. I find a lot of people connect more to the fur industry. They're like, oh, I don't have to wear fur. Like, they have a point. These vegan crazy activists have a point. But as soon as you bring that to food and what they're eating, everybody wants to change the world, but then when it comes when it comes to what they're eating, you know, for dinner, it's like
nostalgia.
It's like,
traditions.
how dare you? Yeah. So so we did that disruption, and it was so incredible. And there was a guy that was doing an interview with all of us, and I think just the more that we do these disruptions and AV cubes and speeches and just speaking to people, it all is effective in its own way. I think
all of them are necessary. I truly believe it. When I first started activism. Well, I never thought I would, as I mentioned before. I never thought I would do that because they seem like weird people, like at disruptions. There's somebody rolling around with fake blood on them, like what's going on, right? But the truth is we're not looking to make people go vegan by looking at that kind of stuff. We are planting a seed. Think about this. Like, why? Look at this blood on this person's body, and they're acting as if they just got fur ripped off of them, and how gruesome that is, right? So it's like, not all of us are going to walk around with a TV screen saying, "Can I show you this?" Or even with our phones, "Let me show you this." I mean, my family members, I will show them a video, and they're like, "Don't show me that." Don't show me that. We want to eat what we want to eat. Like, I don't want to see that. And I continue to remind them as kindly as I can that, look, this is a reality. Like, all of these things, these clothes that we wear, they're very beautiful and all surfacey things, but we don't know how we're getting these things. And it's important to understand that there's an actual reality. There's suffering. There's exploitation. There's pain. There's billions of dollars. And it's not just suffering for the animals. I mean, it's the people who work in these industries as well, right? They're exploited because they need the job, right? They need the money. And they're also not treated well in those circumstances. So
ignorance is bliss, I swear.
Yeah. We all are happy. I know Jamie, myself, we're happy people. We enjoy life, but we also step forward where we need to step forward and speak up where we need to speak up, because their voices aren't being heard. They're screaming and crying in pain, but we can. We have the ability to just do whatever we want to do. So we should put our time towards taking care of them and doing whatever we can for them.
Absolutely, it's the least we can do.
It's the least
really
we can
putting
do.
kindness into action. We can turn away from it. All of us could, or we can turn toward and support. And so, there's so many levels to that, and it's uncomfortable for people, and it's not our goal to make people uncomfortable, but our discomfort not even the same stratosphere as what the animals are going through. You and I, we're going to walk away from this interview in a little while and just go on with our lives, and they're not able to do that.
Right. They're stuck in cages.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let's talk a bit more about Anonymous for the Voiceless as an organization and the Cubes of Truth, as well as the Bearing Witness and the Save movement that I know that you guys participate in as well. So, I went on AV's website, and they say it in such the perfect way in terms of they want to educate the public on animal exploitation and foster highly effective activism groups worldwide. They hold an abolitionist stance against animal exploitation. I'd never heard that word used in that context, right, until I know you said it at the Cube, and promote a clear vegan message through street activism.
Right.
So talk a little bit more about that and also bearing witness and what that does.
Sure. I can talk about Anonymous. I
Yeah,
know
that was
Jamie
great.
does a lot more of the
Yes,
bearing
please.
witness because Thursday mornings I can't get there. But
Yes.
I am an organizer for the AV chapter in Jersey City and New Brunswick, more recently. And we hold we try to do it once a month at either one of the locations. We're there part-time in New Brunswick because it's a college, but it is an abolitionist stance. What that means is we're not taking baby steps or telling people, yeah, it's okay to be vegetarian. This, again, as I mentioned before, it's a movement, right? It's a movement. Like, we need to make a big change. This isn't like an example of, I'll just be racist on the weekends, and then on the weekdays I just won't be, right?
Yeah.
You can't just eat a little bit of an animal once in a while and say, I'm for animals, right? Like, you're either, or you can't just like wear a fur coat and then not
Or
eat
dairy
animals.
as
And dairy as
as
well,
well.
yes. And people, that's something that we really try to edify the public with.
They just don't know.
Dairy is the beef industry. Basically, once those moms have given birth, forcibly impregnated, time and time again, I would say an average is about 8 or 9 babies. That's 8 or 9 years. They hold their babies in their bellies for 9 months, just like humans do. And their babies are taken away from them right away.
And they scream and cry.
The
what
babies
I
are
understand.
suffering, yeah, because they just want their mom. They don't know anything of the world, right? And they're just needing some comfort, and that doesn't happen for them. So we do have a cube formation, and we have truth signs. So you can either be holding a laptop or TV screens, and we have footage across all of our AV cubes, wherever they are, all the same footage, and all of our activists are very educated on what the images are, and we talk to people. We usually give them a few moments to pause, take a look. We usually just only talk to the people who are interested, and we quickly find out people who are not interested, and we have open, honest conversations. We're there to answer questions. And then we do have a card that we hand them at the end, AV, and give them a bunch of documentaries they can look into, show them social supports, ways that they can reach out, and how they can turn towards veganism. And vegan22.com is the way that people can actually have a one-on-one connection online with somebody who is already vegan and can walk them through how to move within 22 days or more towards veganism. Any questions they have, what kind of like shampoo should I use? Where do I buy these products? I'm struggling with changing, I want cheese, right? Like, cheese is the thing. I want my cheese. So where they can get amazing vegan cheese. Honestly, today, Michelle, there is a vegan option for every single thing. If you like hot dogs, they're vegan hot dogs. If you want chicken, there's
a
vegan
vegan
chicken.
corned beef sandwich I came across. They're making
I
even-
bet.
And it gets more and more delicious,
Yeah.
and I keep finding new restaurants constantly in the city, New Jersey, everywhere. It's amazing. So there's really no reason to not be vegan.
There's more to come.
It's actually really scary how much good vegan food there is,
Yes.
because I'm like, I'm looking, I'm like, I gotta get in the gym. I'm
Yeah.
like eating like Cinnabons.
You could
pizza.
like
I never used to eat like
binge
that.
on-
Seriously, I never did. And now once I'm vegan, I'm like eating all of this crap. I'm like, what is this? It's so good though. It's insane.
So just to wrap up Anonymous. So Anonymous is an amazing organization, and we actually have our International Cube Day tomorrow. Today is World Vegan Day, and tomorrow is International Cube Day. So we're going to be running over 500 chapters are going to be running cubes.
Awesome.
So it's going to be an amazing day tomorrow, and we're going to be out there edifying the public. So it's great.
Let me give their website before, anonymousforthevoiceless.com. Jamie, talk a little bit about the SAVE movement, about bearing witness.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I know
I'd love
you've
to.
done that, and what's your personal
Yes.
experience of that?
It is one of the most heartbreaking things you will ever see.
Yeah.
I like Arti, I never thought that I would be a part of something like this. Basically, the SAVE movement, I work a lot with Newark Animal Save, and we go to a slaughterhouse in Newark, New Jersey. It's in our neighborhoods. These places are in our neighborhoods. They're not, in places that we've never heard of. They're around the corner. And
they're not made of glass.
not made of glass. No, they are
No.
so.
'Cause if they were,
they're
they're
hidden
behind
from
locked
us.
doors.
Yeah, they are hidden from us. There's like large fences, and we're not allowed to videotape or trespass over that. We do, but the animals will often be there for hours. Sometimes they take a 22-hour drive from Canada.
Yeah.
No food, no water. Harsh weather conditions. In the summer it's over 100 degrees in these trucks, and in the winter I've seen icicles on these animals. And so we are
really
there
sad.
to comfort them before they are taken inside and give them water and give them just that last, maybe the first bit of kindness that they've ever seen in their entire lives. But not only that, being there, we are able to capture this on social media and we're able to share it. So this is getting their stories. We're documenting their stories. They're just become another statistic.
Otherwise, they're invisible.
Exactly. And we are there to document it and post it. And this is where I think I've seen some of the most responses on my social media of people being like, I'm vegan, I'm going vegan. Like after seeing that, that's insane. I've seen dead animals show up in the trucks. Often this happens every single time just because the conditions, even before they get to the slaughterhouse, I'm like, I don't even know which is worse, honestly. Show up dead or be killed inside a few minutes later. And it's extremely
They show up
brutal.
in feces because they're in there for 22 hours. They've been
crammed in.
starved. They are
can't turn
crammed in,
around.
noses running. If it's cold, heat index, passed out, fainted, dead, whatever. All weather conditions. There's no care for these animals.
Babies.
And even on farms
Babies.
before they
Sweet,
come.
innocent, would never harm.
Yeah, they're only, pigs are slaughtered about 6 months old, chickens 42 days old.
most
People don't realize they're eating
babies. They're babies,
Babies, tiny, and they cry out for the mother. I go up to the truck and I pet them and I sing to them sometimes before they're taken inside, and they just lick your hand. And they go to the fence. Some of them are afraid, and we go very slow, because they were abused their whole life, basically. No different than our dogs and cats.
Right.
No different.
Yeah.
So it's important to be there to document and share their story. I think.
Absolutely.
And that's an important message, I feel, too, Michele, is that what is the difference, right? I always thought there was a difference because this is food, these are pets.
Yeah.
And this vegan movement, social media, all these videos have really opened my eyes to the truth. And outside of veganism, my walk in life has been a truth seeker. That's why I've turned to yoga. And now more truth is being revealed. And it's really important. I'm so grateful for Jamie and all the activists that are out there that I've met. These are like the people who are actually doing something in the world. And
Such a
making
support
change.
group. Without you guys, you go crazy. We're living in a world, it's so normalized. You can't even go outside without seeing an advertisement for the flesh
bombarded
and
everywhere.
secretions of an animal.
Yeah.
You can't.
The
But
trucks,
there is
the
good
commercials,
news.
the billboards.
The lies.
the
You see
people.
a happy, animal like, here I am, and then
On
they're
a grassy field.
packaged in a plastic wrap, sitting nicely on your supermarket. Nothing what we do to these animals is anything like what lions do. Is anything like, it's not. Nothing about it is okay.
Absolutely.
We're
There is
lying.
good news,
They don't go
though.
willingly. They
I
don't
do
go
want to tell you
willingly.
there's good news. The world is turning vegan
Yes.
very quickly.
Fastest growing social
Not as
media.
quick as I would like it to
I
be,
know.
obviously, or as fast as the animals I'm sure would like it to be, but it is moving in the right direction. Foie gras was banned.
I saw
The
that.
first
days ago.
illegal
Yes.
meat product.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, in New York City. And also, there was 3 others, and I apologize, but I don't remember what they were.
The
But I
horse
know the
carriage.
horse carriage. There's like a heat index. Like if the heat hits, if it's 80 degrees or higher, they need to be taken out of Central Park or just taken out of the city. They no longer are supposed to be working. And there's 2 more. And forgive me for not remembering them, but yeah, there's important things happening, and it's beautiful.
I love that.
It's changing.
There is progress. Even if
There
it
is
seems
progress.
slow, there's the possibility that that it can speed up, and any movement is movement in terms of moving it forward. Let me just give the savemovement.org. I wanted to make sure to give their website if anybody's interested in participating, and anybody can participate, even if you're not vegan, but most likely you'll go vegan after that.
Yeah, please check that out, guys. Seriously.
We're actually almost out of time, but give us a couple of tips for anyone who wants to make the transition, or whatever you think is most important for people hearing this for the first time to know. Maybe Jamie and then Arti.
Sure. Watch the documentaries. Educate yourself. I think educating, education is key, really. I mean, that's kind of, it was a process, and I watched these videos and I learned about it. Then the next step I would say is try replacements. Replacements are a really big help. You can go into any supermarket, and it's 2019, we're so lucky that we can choose almond milk instead of cow breast milk.
It's really that easy.
Yes, it's that easy. So replacements, finding what you like, because what my favorite vegan cheese may be may not be yours. But we all have different preferences, and you'll find like your favorite items, that you can get. And the last thing I would say is to people, this really, I think I'm still learning now, is don't worry so much what other people think of you. Because this is, it can be socially challenging at times, but be confident in the truth, and you can actually help.
Even if you're the minority.
Yeah, and you can help change the people around you, because that's what we've done, and it's still a process. My family, we're working on them.
Family.
Working on them, but yeah, it really.
We want to make sure that we are on the right side of history. We're doing the right things. For the animals and for ourselves. I would just add on, I agree with everything Jamie said, I would just add on is find that social group. There's the social group that I connected everything through was Vegan in NJ, actually New Jersey, Vegan in New Jersey. So that's where I met all these amazing, crazy people that I adore. They have been, honestly, I'm in my 40s now, and I haven't ever felt like I fit into anything, and this has definitely been my calling.
We're such a family.
Yeah. And most of the time, we all love each other.
Yes, most of the time. Find that support group. I think that's key.
Well, it actually prevents burnout too, because there's that potential, right, to get drained by what we see. So
and then everybody should come take a yoga class with me, so that they can figure out how to deal with that burnout.
and go to the sanctuaries, right? You gotta go to the sanctuaries and
you
hold the cows and see the cows and love on them and see them thriving and happy, and they're bubbly, their personalities and how friendly they are.
They're just
like dogs and cats, just like people, better than people, much better than people. Right?
I like hanging out with animals.
And I go and I apologize to them for all the wrongs we've done, and the lack of mourning we've done for all that have already, for so many that have passed.
I think it's a good first step for people, even if you're not vegan, go to these sanctuaries.
Great first step to go to a sanctuary. Because non-threatening.
The only time we see these animals is on our plates. We don't have that connection. So establishing that and realizing, these animals are intelligent. They have feelings, they feel pain. Realizing that is a huge transition,
They're real. I mean, I think you're right. In your mind, you can make up something. It's so easy to make up a story it's so far away.
I did.
And I did for years, up until I didn't.
Right, exactly.
We think of animals as an abstraction. They're just a concept. And
because
we don't like to think that they're hurting.
We've been indoctrinated to believe that. Correct. We've been taught that that's how you should, I know as a child, I always loved animals, and we're taught to. We have the books with all the animals, all the different animals, but then they say these are for food and these are for you to love. And so we believe
decided,
that.
Right, draw that arbitrary line. Such as it is, right? There's so much there, and I just want to thank you both again for making the difference that you're already making, and the continued difference you're going to make. Keep going.
Choke it up.
Keep shining. Yes, I know. I'm sort of always on the verge of tears when I talk about veganism. But thank you again. Thank you for being on Positive Energy.
Thank you so much.
We're wrapping up another enlightening show. I hope we've inspired you to make changes toward a cruelty-free lifestyle. For support on how to eat vegan, go to veganeasy.org and challenge22.com. I also recommend you watch the following documentaries: Dominion, Cowspiracy, Earthlings, Forks Over Knives, and The Game Changers. Thank you, Monday Morning Flowers, for the beautiful floral arrangement. Thank you for watching. Go vegan and join me next time on Positive Energy.